train owned by the railroad sugar and oil magnate Leviticus Cornwall was robbed in broad daylight by masked outlaws. Headed north towards the Grizzlies, the outlaws boarded and stopped the train shortly after it had departed from West Elizabeth. Initial cable sent as of printing time indicate the bloody takeover occurred in order to steal the railroad bonds from the personal car of Mr. Cornwall. Shortly after the robbery, the train was set in motion without a driver or crew, barreling dangerously towards area with high rate of speed. Through the area with high rate of speed, okay. It's on a railroad track. What area is it going to? The train was eventually brought to a stop by engineers and linemen north of Annesburg, who reported the scene of violent struggle. Struggle and bloody carnage on board. Some engineers and guards from the train survived the slaughter, but were too startled to report much information of value to authorities. 21 dead in attacks. Coleman Driscoll, a man with a bloody record. Reverend Alex H. Hughes was shot and killed for voicing his concern for safety of the women on board the stagecoach destined to West Elizabeth. The shameful tragedy is part of the widespread disorder led by the notorious outlaws Colm O'Driscoll and his gang. Multiple stagecoaches and shipments have been robbed by the O'Driscoll's gang across New Hanover and West Elizabeth. Banks in the region have also said to be on caution, as a number have been held up not satisfied with the riches of their plunder. The members of the Driscoll's gang are reported to delight in torture and bloodshed as part of their escapades, and have left widows and widowers in their wake. Travelers have encouraged to be aware and armed, especially in the area of Big Valley, where the gang is reported to have taken a large ranch as base of operations, leaving the family and ranch hands dead. Big Valley area. Interesting. Maybe I should go look for those dirty O'Driscolls up there. Bubonic plague spreads. Arriving ships quarantined. Bubonic plague outbreak in India, Hong Kong. Spread to the troops of the Philippines. Many soldiers have died. It has been called a loathsome disease, despite the best efforts of sanitary science to stamp it out. The plague appears to have resurfaced in the country. In New York and Saint Denis, victims of plague were confirmed, and vessels arriving were given the choice of doctor visiting each ship or turning around. Anybody suspected of the death from the disease should be immediately burned, even in case of expiry not confirmed, as bubonic plague is bacterial ological examination. Only 25 in gray. War breaks out in Philippines. Heresy. Religious sect returning. Citizens of Valentine protest. Claim Chelonians. What? Chelonians commit blasphemy. The hell are Chelonians? The evils of Chelonianism are still flourishing. It is now practiced openly, and this newspaper believes it is menace to all our liberty. Christian citizens of Valentine gathered at the church last Saturday to protest what they and any sensible-minded people considered as blasphemy in their mindset. The Chalcedonians have been actively recruiting young men while the U.S. continues to debate the recent statehood of doesn't really matter. Not that interesting. The only interesting thing is that the Chalcedonians are sort of a sect, religious sect from around here. Pinworms. Dr. Simpkins worm syrup. To increase and fortify health. Dr. Crawford's. Never liver brain. Nerves, liver, brain. Okay. Nerve, liver, brain. Hakiko. Nasal bar and as abscess syringe.
Everybody knows them Navy boys can't fly. That's why they're floating. Oh, that's so. Sure. That ain't nothing. I once beat up 20. Okay.
They will be taught the humanity of conquerors. First Philippine Republic has effectively declared war on the United States, objecting to the Treaty of Paris in which the U.S. took possession of the Philippines from Spain after the Spanish-American War. American naval forces have bombarded the city of Illinois. What? Bombarded the city of Illinois after first shots were fired. I guess that doesn't say Illinois. I'm blanking on how to spell Illinois right now. Iloilo. Yes, that's a Philippine city. Oh, the American naval force. Okay. So yeah, that makes more sense than bombarding a landlocked state. The War Department of expects and census of hostilities to happen quickly as the American military force is strong and the Philippines are armed mostly with bolo knives, spears, and bows, and other handcrafted weapons. American occupation of the archipelago has been contentious. However, military officials are planning a humanitarian campaign after hostilities cease. Oh, how nice. Bear attacks. Worry residents. Man killed while hunting. A hunter looking for a deer was set upon a very large bear this week. The bear was separated from its cub and by instinct attacked the man. He fired 5 shots before the big brute reached him, breaking both his shoulders, cutting the vital organs, and terribly lacerating his face. He was found dead by the scouting party after his wife reported him missing. The bear had previously killed a cow a week before, and the reward of 10 was put forth for its capture. Its capture? How are you going to capture a bear? Just kill it. It is unknown if the bear is gravely wounded. Hunters are warned to heed cautious. Blizzard, aftermath, and the grizzlies. A series of late spring snowstorms rendered the grizzlies impassable in May, catching many unprepared having used most of their winter provisions. The snow often means measuring in feet many areas. What? The snow often measuring feet in many areas is unusual in this late in the season. Reports of riders who have recently encountered the area say that respite is finally in sight. The snowmelt is coming quickly with a seasonal warmth, which worries many that rivers downstreams will swell and burst their banks, as happened the late spring snowstorm of '83. Planting season is also reportedly delayed as many areas are too muddy for animals to work a plow. Family murdered. Highway robbery. Murder has become a daily affair once more. Those traveling near tall trees, Hannigan's Stead, Armadillo, O'Turnbull's Weed, Huntington Schrader and his wife and 2 boys were traveling by wagon when they were held up by heavily armed bandits believed to be members of the notorious Del Lobo gang. Del Lobo gang. Mr. Schrader opened fire and the shorter of the bandits was soon a corpse, but the taller one was worked into desperation by the death of his companion. He found his mark, and Mr. Schrader was soon a corpse too. His wife Isabella stood her ground and fired at the bandits until they fled. Her younger son Isaac has been hit in the incident and soon bled to death. Travelers are warned to avoid the areas of incident after violence. Thievery and murder are increasing faster. Law enforcement can't pursue them. Art of Angling by Jeremy Gill. Bluegill. As I've often told keen readers of this column, fishing is for those of intelligent enough to see it be the best way to understand humanity in all its glory. As a famous angler, writer, and dare I say it, philosopher, I am used to the perils of celebrity. Once, while signing an autograph for the polio-stricken youth in Kuala Lumpur, he asked me my thoughts on fishing while it was raining. "Why, that's the best time to go fish, little fellow." I laughed heartily, slapping him on the back and causing him to cough mightily, and quite frankly embarrassed both of us. Poor little chap. Life can be very unfair. Fishing taught me that. I always say that some of the deepest introspection into man's soul happens when he stands in a torrential downpour. I was fishing in the rain using live bait near Scarlet Meadow and hooked a monstrous bluegill. And yet, even I didn't land him, so there's a metaphor pretty much for everything. Using live bait for bluegills. Fishing in the rain. Sounds like they should make a song about that. Bobbin presser sewing machines. Every woman should own and operate a sewing machine. Bobbin and pressures is the best quality in production to date. It will hem, braid, bind, seam, fell, ruffle, tuck, gather, or hero stitch. Earn stitch. Ask for it by name. Niagara and Sons, marbles, every young boy's dream. Millicents, mildest and purest smoke Millicents. Smoke them forever. The finest cigarettes. Mexican border dispute, soldiers block passage. President calls for severing ties. Not since the General Francisco Ramirez Torres seized the presidency of Mexico in the bloody coup of 1876 have relations been so strained with the U.S. Among heightened tensions, General Torres has placed troops along the border to deny entry to prospectors, cattle ranchers, and renegade bandits of Indians who have taken to raiding the Mexican settlements. In retaliation, with an isolationist tone, Presidential Malacastre has called for a ban on trade with Mexico. He said the U.S. has provided resources over the years, including help with ending the Apache Wars 10 years ago, and received a little to return.
Now, why are you so afraid of a pair of gelding tongs? I thought you were the horse expert.
Oh, looks like they're having fun over there. Or was that? Just listen to Damn Uncle yelling over there with Karen. He said U.S. has provided resources over the years, including help in ending the Apache Wars 10 years ago, and received little in return except hostility. Search for ancient bones. Dinosaurs hunt continues. Hailing New Hanover as a geological wonderland, amateur paleontologist Deborah McGinnis is on the hunt, excavating several sites in the state as fossils pour in from the grizzlies. McGinnis asserts that an undiscovered species of dinosaur, which she claims could fly, swim, or walk, once inhabited the region of prehistoric ages, leveling the elusive creature, the Totalisaurus. She has devoted her life's work to unearthing the remnants of the ancient animal, despite geologists saying no evidence exists in the established fossil record. Several universities have rejected her work, saying Mrs. McGinnis would be better suited to write fiction than searching for dinosaurs. Abundance is the dullest desire. This is a nice little read. There's something else I wanted to read in here. Zoological Compendium. A Zoological Compendium of Earth's Creatures, J.D. Goodard. And moose are difficult to run down in such instances, furnishing poor sport. Look not only down but when tracking the moose, for they break twigs, branches, bend branches, and tear the ground up quite significantly. The badger, many a man who nearly broke his neck or leg has cursed this animal for its pursuit of prey. It takes digging holes. These quickly are covered by leaves or weeds, and along comes a rider into death trap. I have been thrown from my horse on several occasions as it has stepped into a badger hole. I got up, covered in dust, cursed the heavens, then took to killing every one I could find within miles, wiping out an entire species, of which I feel only lingering regret. At times, nature should be left to its own devices, up until the point where it's an inconvenience where it inconveniences me, and then it should be eradicated. When approaching its hole, the idiotic creature will pop its head out to see what is coming. Place a shot between the eyes, take the fur and throw the rest in the stew pot. The skunk. Those who raise game birds or chickens are likely to hate skunk for marauding the hen houses, but farmer and forester alike should leave these beasts alone. Many take to shooting skunks for sport, however. They eat quite a large amount of insect larvae, which helps corpses and crops and prevents infestations of moths and other caterpillars. I don't know why I added other. When you upset the balance of nature, man must pay for his pocketbook for artificial substances to rid of infestations, when you could have left well enough alone. A note of animals, water, and debilitation. Serious sickness often takes a household when foul water is drunken. This can debilitate a man from hunting or farming, and instead he is resigned to the outhouse while his spouse looks on in mournful derision and pity. As he neither pleases her in the bedroom nor provides ingredients for bread or supper table, creatures are thirsty too, and will fall in your well, spreading diseases before it is discovered. Obtain a cask and layer small pebbles charcoal and a layer of sand inside. Attach a faucet to the bottom in order to draw off the water. This will provide perfect drinking water, even if it tastes slightly like a dead raccoon. Beautiful. Let's do the books one more time. Rambles through the woods and plains. The very idea. Let's discuss fungus that lives among us. Macrolepiota procera. What? Macrolepiota procera. This is commonly known as the parasol mushroom. In some region it is called the snake's hat. Snakes, of course, do not wear hats. They do, however, talk on occasion. The parasol mushroom is delicious to cook, but should not be eaten raw, as there are toxins that will give you a very unfavorable view of the world, and your gastrointestinal distress will surely be remarked upon. Imlaria badia. This mushroom is known as the bay bolet. These are quite common and can be found in large numbers. These are lovely to cook with garlic and give a distinctive taste of rotted wood that pairs well with a merlot. Do not be worried about the bluish marks that can occur on the underside. Like humans, these mushrooms bruise. There are the beautiful little mushrooms. The dog. Oh, it's my old dog. See this letter?
Dear Arthur, I've written this letter 100 times or more, and I cannot get it right. It's me. You know it's me from the bad handwriting. I know I said when we last spoke, and I was going off to get married, that we would not speak again. I know I said a lot of things, and I meant them, I suppose, at the time. But I'm not so proud as to not speak to people who care for me, or cared for me. I've been in Valentine for a couple of months. I had some bad luck, and, well, it's a long story and not an interesting one. But I am here for now. I saw a couple of the girls, or whatever the polite term is for them, that ran with you and your associates in town, and I heard tell of a man who sounded like you. I would love to see you again if you could spare me a little bit of your time. I'm renting a room at Chadwick Farm, just north of Valentine. Yours, Mary Linton.
Mary Linton. I guess I'm gonna change my wardrobe again. Just put on a coat. I should probably put some cold weather gear on my horse. Not even sure how to do that. Ooh, I'll wear this. Might as well.
How are you? I can't say I'm doing too well. I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, I have all my horses set. Guess I'll take a little nap. Might as well. Looks like everyone's passed out. Sleep till noon. I think it's gonna rain.